It's up, everyone. This is Captain Eon speaking. And today I'm going to be sharing on the idea of do say. And I'm taking this main idea from chapter 23, verses 2 to 10. Now, I grew up with this notion of doing as I was told and not as what I'm seeing those that are telling me to do are doing. In simpler forms, the phrase is, do as I say and not what I do. And honestly, I actually found myself learning more from watching the actions of the individuals that were telling me to do something contrary to their behavior. Now, I don't believe it started from the generation before me. This is something I believe that was passed down and became a quote-unquote tradition in a way. And while it didn't sit right with me, and I ended up really doing the opposite of what they said, I sought to put all this to the side and seek today to bring it to the Lord and pose the question on how does He feel about this? Now, just in a natural sense, I realized that this sort of notion of do as I say and not what I do, it's ultimately like hypocritical or deceptive. It's not anything new, however, because today God addresses this same type of hypocrisy within His own people. The religious folks of the day, He had to confront them about this and really took all of the chapters today to really explain the detriment that it has ultimately to eternal salvation. He breaks it down for me and for all who will listen to Him in this parable of these two sons, where the father asked them to do something and one son says, yeah, I'll do it. Well, the first son says, no, he's not going to do it, and eventually ends up doing it. Whereas the other son says, kind of like yes man sort of thing. Yes, our father, I'll do it. But ultimately doesn't do it. And everyone agrees that the one who actually did the father's will was the one that didn't do what he said, but ended up doing the opposite, rather than the people pleaser who says the right thing and doesn't do. That reminds me of God again addressing His people, which means He was talking to me when He says His people say all the right things. You know, my lips praise Him. I'm saying the right words. Joyful noise, all these great things. But yet my heart is far from Him, because I don't have a heart to actually do the do. If that wasn't enough, God further breaks it down to show how this life of hypocrisy, being rooted in lies, really stems off and branches off into so many other evil elements. You know, this whole prideful life of titles. You know, he says, don't call people father and teacher and instructor. And I related today where these titles of pastor and bishop and deacon and overseer, even calling each other brothers and sisters. It's not that these are not things that God mentioned, but they, in my opinion, have been taken and the meaning is gone because it's all about these titles now. It's more, in my opinion, and what I'm gleaning from God is, yes, he established these positions, but they're not meant to be these titles we wear that become our identity, because it also leads to things like thievery. I believe, now that what we consider the church, it's really a business. It's the business of church. It's an industry. It's an incorporation. And while they're not-for-profit corporations, they're doing and being run corporately. You see in the lobbies of these buildings, sales and, and I think this is not new, where God went into the temples, into the synagogues, into their places of worship, and he turned these things over. And he says, this is the life of thievery, stemming from hypocrisy. For me, the bottom line is, God has given me this new lease on life with his eternal salvation. He allowed me into the gate of his land, and he has the vineyard ready. The harvest is ready. He built the threshing floor, and he has the tower, and he leased it out to me. And it's not just for me to sit around and make a profit, but it's more of, I've been called to produce good fruit. And he's warning me that by becoming entangled in merely saying things that sound good, that ultimately will prevent me from actually doing the do. Caption this. Those that really say they do, don't say. Sir.